Hi, good morning. We're going to start with a little bit of Christmas spirit today, and I'm actually going to hark back to my 12th scale work that I've done. It's a long time since I have done, but I was lucky enough to be a contributor to the Doll's House magazine, so some of these items I did do in there, some I've modernised them up a little bit, and I'm hoping to do a set of different things, decorations for your doll's house, or it doesn't have to be a 12 scale doll's house. You can use this for any scale doll, to be honest. You can just sort of scale it up. As you can see, one of the items that I've actually scaled up is the pom-poms here. I'm going to do some tiny weeny pom-pom garlands now, and we have our tiny tree. It's not finished yet. I'm actually after trying to get a better tree because things don't sit very well on this one, so I'm hoping. But I've just started doing a few little bits and pieces on this tree, but I do know it needs a little bit of work on it. So I've got to go and find a better tree because the things don't hang very well on this one, unfortunately. But it is a little cute tree, and I want a little bit taller as well. It's quite a nice size for 12 scale, but I want one, I've got enough space to sort of, so she can have a very grand Christmas tree, and that is what I'm aiming for. In my 12 scale items here, actually I have my Pippas and similar dolls, and also my miniature Cindy's. They all fit within that theme for me for 12 scale. So my doll's house stuff is really sort of mini fashion dolls more than anything else. So we're going to have a look at a couple of little bits and pieces. We're going to be making a little pom-pom garland. We're going to be looking at some baubles, which I'm sure some of you have done, but I just thought I'd just show a simplified version. And also, if I can pick it up, we have a little thing for your Christmas cards. So we need something to hang our Christmas cards on, so we're going to just go through that as well. So just a really nice quick tutorial for you to get into that Christmas spirit. I'm hoping to do some more later in the week. We're going to have paper chains. We've got an angel. One of the angels was one that I did actually have in the magazine, so I'll be able to show you the article as well with that one, and just have a little bit of fun with it, and as I say, get into that Christmas spirit. Is that the right way around? It is. So I will see you in a second, top down, and we'll have a play with some beads, and I'll see you in a minute. Hi, we're back with the decorations now. As you can see, there is a vast array of bits and pieces. I'm lucky enough to have quite a lot of crafting bits, which is quite good because over the years I've collected various things. So I'm using up some of those, but some of this is also quite cheap to achieve. As you can see here, we have some pom-poms and just some basic plastic beads. They were very cheap. I mean, the pom-poms, they can be pound shop pom-poms. Always look in the crafting section for children when you're looking for things like that because they're great. I do actually have some gold Lurex thread here, but you don't have to use gold. Normal thread will do. Have a little bit of ribbon. We have a needle because I need that for the thread, and I've just got a selection of beads. I just thought I'd put a few out sort of to give you an idea of what you could do. Now I've also got obviously little bits of bows. I have some jewellery findings. Now these are quite nice because these got a little bit of a fancy bit on the end as well, but these are really cheap to pick up. A lot of mine I've just bought on eBay. We've got the little Christmas cards here, which I'll talk about some of these later. And I've also got some pliers. You probably don't need lots of pliers, but they're just ones I've got out. And obviously I've got some scissors. I have some PVA glue over there because we need some glue. I've also got some super glue. I don't like to use super glue much, but sometimes some things will not stick without it, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to just take off, if I can get it off. As I mentioned, I am wanting another tree, so this lot is not actually fixed on, so it's all going to pop off now while I'm trying. In fact, let me take it off. I'm going to take it all off. Let me take it off and then I can show you properly. You watch. I've said it falls off because the tree is not right, and now it won't come off. There we go. Nearly there. So what I'm actually trying to get off is the pom-pom chain, because this is what we are going to be doing first. And it could not be simpler. I mean, it's a great one you can be doing with the kids as well. So I know my granddaughter's been playing with the pom-poms and doing a Christmas tree and things, and she's absolutely loved it. She can't really go far wrong, can you, with a pom-pom? Now, these are quite tiny pom-poms, but again, easy enough to get hold of. And there's basic little plastic beads. I've just used the same colour all the way along with this one. And as I showed you in the first part, I made a larger one for my other tree. So if you want to make a really big one, you can make one for your Christmas tree, whatever size your Christmas tree is. I think it's just a very nice size. So it's this little tub here we're going to be using for this. So, and that. And we need some scissors, and we need a needle. You need one sharp enough that it's actually going to go through the pom-poms. So we can really move all this to one side, but I've got to do it carefully because I've got bits everywhere because of this. There's bits and bits off that tray. That's the only thing. That tree's also dropping a little bit, which is a little annoying. So basically with this, because this is a gold thread, I found you couldn't have a massive long string because it can break. So you get little bits coming off it. So as much as I like it because it's gold and it looks pretty, I decided maybe it wasn't actually the best of the cottons to use, but it does look nice. So we're going to cut that about there, and fingers crossed it's not going to fray on me. Now, if the end's frayed like that, you can, I don't know whether you can see, but it sort of all frays away and it can be a bit of a nightmare with metallics. I just fold mine over and then push it through the needle, and it's not going to play now, is it? You can guarantee that. You do it in practice and it's fine. You try and do it in front of people and it all goes wrong. Right, no, there we go, there we go. So I'm just going to push my needle a little bit along because I need to do something at this end. I need to make a little loop, and it's easier to do it now rather than when the pom-pom's on. So I've just folded it over and I'm just going to wrap it round. And again, normal cotton would probably be easy. Embroidery cotton would work quite nicely if you have some embroidery thread. I do have some gold embroidery thread. I should have perhaps used that, but I saw this on the side and I thought, oh, that'll be nice. So pull that so it's a bit neater. I'm just going to cut off that tiny bit there. I don't want that. Now, I don't normally do this sort of tutorial, so this will be interesting to see how well you can see it. So I'll push my needle back along, almost to the knot, not all the way, well, maybe about there, because I'm going to need to keep moving this along. I think it's because the needle rubs on this that does actually damage the thread. And we'll move our original one out of the way, and I lost a pom-pom there. And it's this simple. This is all I am going to do. Try and get to the centre of the pom-pom though. They can be a little bit fiddly. Some of them don't like going through, so roughly the middle. And I'm just going to push it on and push it to the end. And that's my first one. Now, as you can see, I've got loads of little beads here. I think I might, I mean, I went for the green ones last time. I think I might go for the pearly ones. Now, these were in a mixed bag of beads I got quite often. Can you see that? That's another problem. Watch for your size of your beads. You may need to change your needle. I don't want to change my needle because it'll be messing about for you guys. So I'm going to just have to pick a larger bead, aren't I? Let's have a look. There was a little pink one there. I think we're going to have to go for the multicoloured. So that goes on. Lovely. You don't have to put beads in between. You could just go for like mad pom-poms. Now I'm going to go for a colourful one. We'll go for a purple there. I'm not going to do all this with you. You don't need to see me do that. I'll find another one of those pink ones. I said I was going to go multicoloured, but I haven't done. I'm going to come for 2 pink. And what shall we do? A yellow one. They do have a tendency to stick to each other as well, so you do have to have a bit of a play with them. And another pink one. I think I'm going to have enough pink ones now. Perhaps variegated would have been a better idea. I'm going to go for a blue. I'm just going to do 1 set. And another pink. Is there another pink? Actually, I think there's quite a few pink ones in here, so we might be all right. You don't have to put them on at one at a time. One thing I did do is, like, I've pushed that one on now. And then I've gone, oh, I'll just go for my pom-pom. And then push it down. You don't have to do them. You can sort of load your needle up with loads of them if you want. So basically, that is it. You will just keep building it up and building it up. Now, because I had 2 different size pom-poms here, because I had these little tiny red ones, you can see I've alternated it. So I've gone like red, then a big one, red, then a big one, all the way along. It depends on what pom-poms you've got. I've got some really nice sort of snowbally looking ones. I think I got them from the range. I think they were about £1 as well. And they would look quite pretty, depending on the theme that you're going for your Christmas tree. You can go for a single colour, double colour, icy colours, warm colours, whatever you want in from that. But I just think they look quite cute. And I do actually quite like the idea of making a massive one, but my Christmas tree is very big, the main one we've got, and I don't really look forward to doing it on that. But I do have a smaller one. Perhaps we could have a go with that. But it needs to be a trip to the pound shop, because that's where I got a lot of my pom-poms from. You get a big bag of pom-poms for £1. You get larger pom-poms, obviously, than this, which would make it a little bit quicker. Because the one I made on the tree, the beads I actually put in between of that with these little flower ones, and it looks quite cute. But if you've got bigger beads, you can pile beads on, pom-poms. Make sure if you're putting quite heavy beads on, though, that you might need a double thread here, not necessarily just that single thread, because this does break quite easy, so you do have to be careful with it. So that was it for the pom-pom. How easy is that, and how fast is that? And as I say, something anyone can do in the family. Just be careful, obviously, with the sharp needle. You don't want some sort of spiking themselves with it, so it's not perhaps suitable for two younger members of the family. But as long as they're careful, I'm pretty sure that that will be okay. So we're going to pop that one back in there. I'm still pushing off tree bits on here. It's because on the tree, can you see how they've like, if I do that now, you can see that's what happens. So it might be a good idea to do that first before you actually start decorating it, get any loose bits off. But this was only a cheap one. Again, I've got a feeling this is something like a pound shop, Christmassy shop I got them from. But I want one that's, ideally I would like one that looks a bit more realistic. If I can't find one, I can't find one. So, but unfortunately it put bits everywhere. So we'll put that to one side. And I think one that a lot of you will have probably made before is going to be this next one. So I'm just grabbing over some bits and pieces here. So I just have a selection of little charms and little beads. I like a very colourful Christmas tree myself. I'm sort of very much sort of towards the Victorian style, where it's just a mixture of everything. I absolutely love my Christmas tree. So these are just a few little bits. As I say, we have some jewellery findings here. Now these are just sort of like stems that you put. Hey, nearly lost that bead. Let's put that there because they're going to roll away, aren't they? That's better. I like this one because it does have the fancy bit. So when you pop the bead on, your decoration looks even fancier. Now my decoration for that I actually made is this one, just nice and simple. I quite like this bead. This is a glass one, so it's a little bit heavy. That is the problem I found with this particular tree. And this could not be easier. I have pliers. These are my old pliers, looking a little bit worse for wear. I'm getting a little bit rusty, some of them, but you don't need this many pliers. You might not even need pliers. It depends on how soft the wires are. But I just thought I'd go through very quickly how I put them together. You see I've used the pom-pom there as well. So I did one with pom-pom. I have done one with bead. I've got a little plastic bead here. I also had some tiny little bells. Now I've got something slightly different on the bells, but I'll show you that in a second. And I have some charms here. Charms are always great because, to be honest, the charms, you can almost push them straight on like that because they've already got the little holes there, so you can just push them onto the tree. Or you could perhaps put them on a little piece of string or a, I can't think of the word, a jump ring, which is what I'm going to show you in a second. In fact, I have a pot of jump rings here. Now I've already used one of these for one of the projects, but you can use these really tiny ones. So if something hasn't got a ring on it, you can always get hold of these, or just use a little bit of cotton or something like that. It's that simple. So for these, this is going to be the fastest ever. We've basically got this. We thread the bead. And I think that was really pretty, that one. A nice little bit of Christmassy sparkle there. And I need to cut this about 1 centimetre up. That is why I actually have grabbed different pliers, because two of mine don't have cutters, but you can see there's a little cutty bit there. Again, look at that, I'm just looking at the dents in that. It shows how many times it's cut things. So it's going to have a bit of a fight here. But you might have some better ones than this. They don't have to even be small pliers. It's just something that will cut wire. So approximately 1 centimetre up from my bead. I'm going to put it over there because it's going to pop. Yeah, sometimes they fly everywhere, so you do have to be careful with that. I think because this is a bit blunter, it's not cutting quite as well as it should do. So here we go. We have this little bit of a stalk here. Now I am not a professional jewelry maker or anything like that. This is really how I bodge things together. So what I need to do is turn this into a little loop. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is just a little loop that you will either just push straight onto the tree, or you'll put a little bit of thread through it or something like that. So this is just how I like to do mine. Okay, First of all, I like to bend them slightly. Let me grab it to one side. That seems a bit weird, I know, but it sort of just seems to angle it a little bit better. Then I'm taking the end, tight grip, and I'm curling it round. Now if you need to bend it a bit further that way, just bend it. And then I'm going to take my other plier because it's flat, so it's easier. And I'm just going to squeeze. Oh, I'm going to try. It's wiggling around there. Keep still. It's a little bit hard when you're doing it on a video for people because I would normally have it closer to my body and I can't. Like there, you can see I'm pulling it towards my body because that is where I would naturally do it, because it's a little bit sort of far away from me there. There we go. That will do me. So basically I've just created a little loop, nothing more complicated than that. And that's it. You've got a Christmas bauble. If you're creative on the paper craft side, you can make a tiny box and make a little box full of them. That would look really cute. Can you imagine those in a little box of 6 or something like that? I do like these. These are the ones I'm going to mainly be putting on the tree. I've got some more of these beads. In fact, I have. Okay, this is what I've been playing with. There's bits of beads, and also we might have a go at some Fimo candy canes as well later in the week, because I do like having a play with Fimo. Again, I'm not a professional, but it's a bit of fun, so I don't mind. So basically, I did exactly the same with this. Just push this through the pom-poms. You could have a tree full of pom-poms. And as I mentioned with the little bell that I've got, there's a little tiny jump ring there. I'm going to talk through opening a jump ring. That is one thing I do know when we do the next thing, because I have to use a jump ring for that. So now we have a garland. We have some really cute little baubles for our tree. So depending on how big your tree is, you could go absolutely wild with those. You can stack them up, use different types of beads. These are just a few examples that I had already. I quite like the blue crackly one, so I might go for some of those as well. But the thing is, as I said, these are heavy because they're glass. If you've only got a small tree, maybe the pom-poms or plastic beads will be the best option there. So I'm going to tidy all these up afterwards. So I'm going to put all them in there because I will be finishing those for when I do try and get myself another tree. And we're going to move on to our third little quick project. As I say, through the week I'll be doing different little quick projects. I think I'm going to try and do it through the week, sort of as long as I don't get sort of any sort of family things I have to deal with or anything comes up. I will hope to get a couple of these videos out because they're really quick and they're just back-to-back videos. Now, I mentioned Christmas cards. Yeah. Now, this is one that I did for the magazine. I used a tartan ribbon for that one. So we can see it's just stuck there. Now, I've only just stuck this morning, so it might not hold. Now, I mentioned a jump ring. That is what these are for. We've still got tree bits on here. It's really annoying. These are the large jump rings, because when I bought this pack, they've got every size from really tiny, and this one really was not expensive, and to the quite large ones. They actually make great hoop earrings for dolls as well. So you can use even bracelets for certain size dolls. They're quite handy. They're just nice to have a mixture because I can use them for lots of different things. I've got a set in silver as well. Great way of sort of keeping them contained as well. So I'm really pleased with that as a purchase. So we have these little jump rings here. One stuck between my finger. There you go. We only need one, so I'm only going to use one. I'll pop the other one over there. I have these little pegs. That is just basically, as things are gluing, these little pegs are great to actually hold things together. So I have a pot of those as well. And for my decoration there, I've popped a little flower on the top, but I don't know, perhaps I need to sneak a bow in there as well, because I don't think that sort of shows up enough, but I will sort that out later. Now, these little tiny Christmas cards are not what I've made. They are relatively simple to make if you can sort of be bothered to go on the computer and miniaturize things and then print them out and everything, but I couldn't, so I decided to buy them off someone. I bought them off eBay, again, just about £1-ish. There was all these, and I've also already put some in the doll's house. So it was quite a nice little package, just lots of different ones as well. So yeah, it's up to you. If you've got the sort of the skill to do this on the computer, makes it even easier. But if not, you're only paying about £1, so it's not the end of the world for that. Now, this is the ribbon that I used. It is a 3mm ribbon there. It was just some that I think I got in a sale. So it's got a slight glitter to it. So it's red with a tiny little gold glint to it. I've cut quite a long piece. Obviously you can decide how long you want it for your cards, and all I've done is cut a little V in the end here. Now if your ribbon does have a tendency to fray, you can either use some fray stay or a little bit of PVA glue. It does dry clear, so it's okay for that, just to stop it fraying. As it turns out, this doesn't seem to be fraying very much, so I'm quite pleased with that. Now as far as the little jump ring was concerned, I said I'd talk about opening them. I've just realized I don't need to open them, so we'll open this one. Yeah, so usually to open a jump ring well, you need 2 pliers. So we've got one holding it that side, we have one holding it this side. Okay, as I say, I'm not a professional, but you know, I can sort of work this one out. And instead of just pulling it apart to open it, which is not great, it will damage the actual shape of the ring, we twist. Yep, and then we twist back to fasten. Let me get it into place. Hey, it's not behaving. There we go. So we twist it back into place. So you twist open, you twist back. You twist open and back. That's the best way, because otherwise if you do this, and you see I've just sort of pulled it apart, I'm really caggy-handed here, that when you try and put it back, it will go all over the place. So that doesn't work. So you do need that twist method. To be honest, with these particular jump rings, these are not ones I'd use for jewellery because they're not very strong. Because to be honest, I can do it on my fingers, but they are great just for using for little bits of crafting things. That's the only reason I use them. I do have some nice solid ones when I am doing any bits of jewellery. So I've got to make some various bits of crochet Christmas jewellery as well, but that hopefully is going to come up. I don't know, I'm running out of time fast here. So basically we have our ribbon, and I'm just going to push the ribbon through. Let me get it the right way around, through the jump ring. I want to make sure my glittery bit is on the front. There we go. So I've just pushed it down. Decide sort of what length. I say this is one, not a massive one, so I might, because these are going in my doll's house display that I'm trying to build up, which I will take a picture of for you eventually. It's only sort of all we've got at the moment is wallpaper and a fireplace with Christmas garlands and some stockings hung up. That's about it for now, but I'm wanting to make some more handmade things for it. So that was about there. So I think we'll go a little bit longer this time, maybe about there. I'm going to fold it over, decide where it's going. I'm going to actually make sure this bit where the jump ring joins is hidden inside. We don't want to see that, do we? There we go. So I'm then going to turn it over. I need to leave, what, maybe a centimetre. So I did cut off way too much ribbon here, but about there, and cut. Again, if you need to stop any fraying, a little bit of fray check, fray sort of stop, things like that, or just that little bit of PVA glue. Now I have some PVA glue here, and I have my paw paintbrush, which is suffering something terrible because it gets used for everything. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue in there, and I'll put it down there so I don't lose it, and then just gently squeeze it together. And that is when my little pegs come in, because they are really good at just holding things in place. Now, this is not going to glue in place while you guys are watching, because PVA does take a little bit of time. So you sort of don't need to rush. Maybe if you're doing that, put that to one side while you go off and do something else, and maybe even the next day ideally. So try and make sure the ribbon's nice and smooth there. I've got a little bit of a bend in mine, haven't I? But as I said, because it won't glue, I can have a play with it afterwards. But I need to sort of just show you some of the things that I did with it. So I'm going to move my peg down, because as I say, the next thing I did was I stuck on this. It's just a little resin flower. Or you could go for, I think a little ribbon actually looks nice. Obviously this is the hanging hoop. I actually think that looks better, doesn't it? I will do that, but for now, because I can't sort of reach it because of the peg is in the way, let me just move it down a little bit. I might be able to pop the ribbon on if nothing else. And this is where I broke my rule regarding super glue, because this will not stick with PVA unless you're very, very patient and wait for quite a long time. I am not patient, so I have a pot of super glue. It doesn't get used very often. It gets used more for the cosplay things when we do that. But obviously, we've not done any of that for a while due to various reasons. And obviously, it has all been sort of locked down, so to speak. So all I'm going to do is a bit of super glue. Mind your fingers. You don't want super glue stuck on your fingers. And it sort of hides. You can see how it's just hiding that little bit. I'm hoping I'm saying on screen here, because like I say, it's not a medium I'm used to showing people. Now this isn't going to behave and stick, so I would just squeeze that on. If this doesn't stick, I'm just going to take it off, and then we can carry on with the rest of it. Are you going to stick? I think it has. Now there we go. So that's our garland. I was going to call it then. That is our little thing. I think that looks better. Thing, that's so technical, isn't it? My little Christmas card holder. And then basically taking these little cards, again, a little bit of PVA glue on the back, and you can just place them as you want. In fact, I think you should start at the bottom, because then they overlap nicely. You can place your little cards on and glue them carefully into place. As I do have a few more cards that are actually, I've actually put them on the fireplace part of my doll's house, so perhaps I need to take them off so I can fill this up, and then she can have 2 of these hanging up on the wall. Now, as far as hanging on the wall, I know I've said there is a hanger there, but to be honest, you can see how it's not stuck, so I only did it like that half an hour ago. A tiny bit of white tack, or if there is another special tack you can use for the doll's houses, but I use the white tack usually, and just be careful obviously if it's going on wallpaper. Or if you do already have little hooks, there are tiny weeny hooks and nails you can do. It's not suitable for the area that I'm doing, because it's not actually a doll's house I'm putting this in. It's like a shelving unit that I've done. I will use a tiny little bit of white tack on the back and stick it, because there's no weight to that. That is nice and light. So basically that is it. That is our quick tutorial for today. We have our beads for our baubles. I'll bring some of those in. There's a couple more that I've got there. They're the ones that came off of the tree. We have our little pom-pom garland. We have some more baubles. And we have the little charms that can also be used. You could just literally, I know I've done pom-poms, but you could string beads or anything really. So that's basically it for today. I will think of a couple of more things we can do. As I mentioned, we may do some FIMO. I'm not sure on that, because that's not so easy to actually teach sort of on camera, but basically get some little tiny FIMO candy canes. Although I do need a little bit FIMO, however you pronounce it. I do need to try and do one for my little angel's head, so I do need to get the FIMO out anyway. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but hey ho, you know what I mean. FIMO, FIMO, tomato. So that's it for today. I've got all these bits of beads to sort out. I need to finish these ready to go in my doll's house. Oh, doll's house, our shelving unit for it. And I need to find a tree first. I need to go shopping for a tree. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a bit of fun. You may already know how to do this, but you know, some people do like watching DIY, even if they know how to do it. I know I do. I love to see some of the doll hacks and things like that. So I will see you all very soon with another Christmassy themed thing. And of course, we do have some crochet coming up, and I will be doing a little sort of 3-tiered crochet snowman. I'm looking forward to doing him. I think he should be quite cute. And I will see you all very soon. Please like, subscribe and share, and get ready for Christmas. Bye for now.